And when I slipped, I was frantically moving in the water and I lost my way. I couldn't find the top. And so in my mind, what I thought immediately was, if I could just get to the bottom, if I can get to the ground, then I can push myself up and I could get my head just above the water so I could take a breath of air. And so I did that. I went all the way to the bottom and I pushed up with everything I had and I took a breath of air. And then as I went back down, I started drinking water again and I was drowning. And I was like, I got to keep doing this. I don't know how long I can do this. I don't know how long I need to do this, but I know that I need to do this if I'm going to get some air in my lungs. So I did it again. I went down and I came back up and I went down again. And it kept happening over and over and over. And just as I passed out, my mother ripped me out of that pool. And I survived. I'm thankful for that. But something really stood out to me in that moment. The thing that stood out to me most is that air was the most important thing that I needed. It wasn't the noise. It wasn't the older kids that were playing. It wasn't who was watching me, who's not watching me. None of those things mattered at all. It was the air that I desperately needed in order to keep living. And educators, staff, and faculty, you represent that air for our children, for our communities. You show up every day for them, and they depend on you. We, as parents, we depend on you.
Yes.
No matter how you're feeling, if you're having a good day or a bad day, we care, but we still need you to show up, our children in our communities, in order to grow, in order to be something more than what we are in this moment. We depend on you to show up every day. And something about oxygen, right? Oxygen, it changes over time how we utilize or how we get oxygen. But oxygen, it's a precious resource and it has to be protected. When we're in space, they use oxygen systems. In water, they use oxygen tanks. Sometimes when we're hiking in Hawaii, maybe we get to the top and we need a little oxygen. So we need an oxygen mask. But it's the reality is that we need oxygen in our community. You're that oxygen. So how do we protect the most important thing that needs protecting? Because you are the system that needs to be protected. How do we do that? How do we protect who's providing that air that we all desperately need? And this is where we tie into leadership. Because when it comes to leadership, one of the hardest things to do is to lead ourselves. We can show up for students. We can show up for our teammates. We can show up for everybody that needs us. Hey, you need me? I got you. I'll be right there. I'll make a way. I'll make it happen. Because the mission is important to you. But how do you show up for yourself?